Martin Popoff from the Contrarians here, back again with another edition of Reliving Old Reviews as a Useless Tool of Confusion. This is the show where we look at an old review of an album or a band that has become legendary over time and see if the writer got it right, sort of thing. So we are going to start with a review of The Clash, the debut Clash album, written by Barry Kane in Recordmere, April 9th, 1977. So this is boots on the ground reviews of something. So this is The Clash arriving right at the beginning of the album phase, the album year of punk. There really wasn't much other than the Ramones basically in 1976. So this is when the albums arrived. By the way, I have written a Clash book. I don't sell this one actually at my site, martinpopoff.com. But yeah, big hardcover kind of analysis of every single Clash song. I've got a Damned one that I can sell you, of course, but and I love it. I think I like it more than this, even though the production values, it's just a let me see if I can find one of those quickly. This is what that looks like. So this is the Damned one, same kind of idea. I just go through and do an analysis and a review of every single Damned song, and all my interviews from Damned are in there. But I digress. But yeah, I love my punk rock. I was boots on the ground with all these albums at the time. But yes, The Clash. So let's see what Barry has to say at the time, and we shall review his review. Okay. Start at the deep end. This is the best debut album any British band has ever produced. Wow. Okay. Forget the sociological quagmire predictably promoted by crawling Confederates. Forget the patronizing whatever they lack in musical ability, they more than make up for in sheer gut energy syndrome. Forget all the new wave regalia that haunts every toilet paper periodical like computer data. The Clash pulls the chain on all the crap that has preceded it. Interesting, because they eventually have an album called Cut the Crap, which is their last album. And that's simply on the record's stunningly conceived musical content. Wow, stunningly conceived musical content. I don't think anybody would say that, too many people would say that about the first Clash album. It is short, punk, experimentally punk ideas, straight to the point, pretty chordal, all guitar, bass, and drums. You've got the two singers in classic ZZ Top BTO style, where you've got the naive, youthful voice of Mick Jones, and then you've got the shouty guy in Joe Strummer. And I remember getting this album as a kid, as a new release. Our Canadian issue was different from the UK one, different color, different track listing, and just loving the aesthetic and the vibe of it. We were angry young metalheads, but still there was just something really cool about punk. It's very, very much like, if you were young buying grunge, having been raised for your 2 or 3 or 4 years on music on hair metal, and then you get grunge, and because I remember the same feeling at grunge, where there was just something magical and more dangerous about this form of heavy music, and that's kind of what punk was to us. But this album wasn't particularly heavy. We loved, me and my group of friends, we loved the Sex Pistols album way more than the Clash album. But now I love them both pretty much equally. They're both absolute classics. Okay. If you've got ears, the messages, they're really nothing more than wry comments, will smash you in the face soon enough. But don't be impatient. Just savor the rest of the deal. It sure ain't from the bottom of the pack. There's no such thing as a highlight on this album. Every song has an identity, melodically as well as lyrically, of its own. That's a good point. I mean, the lyrics are really good on the Clash, and there is a lot of melody and there's a lot of variety in the songs, and there's a lot of songs because they are short, other than Police and Thieves. Okay, Joe Strummer and Mick Jones have written all the numbers except for Junior Marvin's Police and Thieves. That seems a strange one to choose. Reggae, The Clash, yeah, it is a real outlier on here. It is the quietest song, and it is the longest song. You soon realize its inclusion was a masterstroke, a calculated risk that works like magic. I guess I never knew phasers could be so effective as in Cheat, a track actually needing that often superfluous device. There's a remix of White Riot, and it sounds far superior to the single. The production is sometimes a little oblique, but Strummer's heavy artillery voice, Jones' contradictory, maniacal, disciplined guitar, and Paul Simonon's all embarrassing bass blasts criticism into bass kingdom come. Barry Kane. Wow, very nice. He gives it 5 plus signs, so 5 stars out of 5, I assume. And look at what else is on this. So here it is. This is what I find interesting as well. Look at what else is on this page to review. We've got Supertramp, Even in the Quietest Moments, Widowmaker, Too Late to Cry. Remember that Bob Daisley semi-supergroup situation. Thelma Houston, Quantum Jump, Rita Coolidge, Eddie Rabbit, Lake, Smokey, The Beatles reissue. And Klaatu. So as you can see, you go back this far in time and, a lot of musical styles are going to mix together on a page. To see an Eddie Rabbit review right here, Smokey, the Polite Graham, the UK soft rock sort of situation. You've got some prog on here. You've got a reissue. You've got Klaatu, which is pretty bizarre. So it's the only punk album on this page. And it's one of the earliest punk albums there is. So I think he gets it right. And he really captures that spirit, right out off the bat. People who decry the Clash and don't like the Clash. So there seems to be a little jealousy of the band being such a critics band. The critics love this band, right? And you get that right out of the gate with this very over the top saying it is, what does he say? The best debut album any British band has ever produced. So that's pretty wild. So there you go. Please like if you liked my review of this review or this review. I think you should like it just for this review itself. Barry Kane's review. Very cool. And you can join our Patreon situation that gets you onto our panels if you like. I've got an audio podcast as well, History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff. A lot of punk content there. And I do an AC/DC podcast with my buddy John Gaffney. I've also got another series here in the Contrarians that we're calling Who Invented Heavy Metal. But yeah, we've got merch. Like I say, the Patreon, some of my favorite shows are the panels we do. So you can get on with that. But there you go. Go play some Clash the Clash.